The fight for Krakoa has been lost. 10 years ago, the mutants returned from their exile to try and reclaim the Earth from the forces of Orcus. They failed. Now, within the victorious Orcus, with their gauntlet choking the world, Nimrod and Omega Sentinel put their plan within a plan into action. They are to summon their binary god to consume everything in their accession. All that stands between them is the X-Men. What can they do? They're the X-Men. They'll find a way. That's their power. So begins a story beyond time and space within the rise of powers beyond our petty human intelligence. From writer Kieron Gillen, Immortal X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, and artist R.B. Silva, Powers of X, Captain America, Symbol of Truth, comes half the story that will bring the Krakoa age to its conclusion. Tomorrow, we become our god. Quote, Nimrod. Before the rise of Power of X, the narrative commenced with the House of X, a story that comprised two distinct arcs, yet seamlessly converged into one cohesive tale. House of X predominantly portrayed the ongoing present-day events of mutants in Marvel Comics, while Powers of X series delved into mostly future events, incorporating some stories from the past and a few from the present. This structure echoes the current dynamic with the fall of the House of X, illustrating the present and the rise of the Power of X, envisioning the future, including timelines that may no longer exist. Rise of the Powers of X, Volume 1, Issue 1. In a leap 10 years into the future, we find ourselves at the Tower of Nimrod, the lesser, the formidable human-machine monolith that dominates Earth. With a sense of cockiness, Nimrod declares they really thought they could win. The scene sets the stage for a future where Nimrod appears to have triumphed over the challenges posed by those who once sought victory against him. Emma Frost, in a sacrificial act, has been given her life to buy precious time for her fellow X-Men in their mission to thwart Orcus. Meanwhile, Omega Sentinel emerges on the scene with a clear mission to alter the future. The X-Men, having successfully neutralized Nimrod in the future in a transformative event known as the Phoenix Fire, Omega Sentinel is determined to reshape the course of the events and bring about a different destiny for mutantkind. The stage is set for high-stakes confrontations against the formidable forces that threaten the future of the mutants. Omega Sentinel issues a warning cautioning against the overconfidence, emphasizing the potential risk of underestimating their adversaries. Nimrod responds by urging others to pay attention to what Omega Sentinel has just conveyed, perhaps hinting at the importance of staying vigilant and acknowledging the gravity of the situation they find themselves in. The exchange sets a tone of tension and uncertainty as the characters navigate the challenges ahead. A revelation unfolds as Omega Sentinel asserts that they haven't achieved victory, and Nimrod thinks she was sent here by the trickster Dominion. She credits the glorious Avenger Sentinels for putting a halt to it. Nimrod, however, believes that Mr. Sinister, representing the Dominion, is deceiving Omega Sentinel regarding the future. Despite the skepticism, Nimrod has a valid point, acknowledging the grim reality of the ongoing war where mutant after mutant has fallen, meeting their demise. The complexity of this situation deepens, introducing layers of uncertainty and potential manipulation in the narrative. The perpetual planner Omega Sentinel is constantly staggerizing and peering into the future, always considering the next move. In contrast, Nimrod exudes overconfidence, stating that even with the remaining handful of mutants, victory is unlikely. He demises them as mere few hunter-killers and sees the mistakes in relying on humans as resources, labeling them as human resources brigades. However, Omega Sentinel remains vigilant, acknowledging that persistent threat and that the unpredictable nature of life. She asserts that they must act swiftly to suppress any potential challenges, emphasizing the need to stay one step ahead in the complex and evolving conflict. Nimrod's respect for Omega Sentinel is evident as he expresses concern, recognizing the urgency of the situation. However, Omega Sentinel remains steadfast, emphasizing that time is running out. Nimrod, acknowledging the inevitability of change, critically mentions meeting their new god tomorrow. The dynamic between these two powerful entities suggests a delicate balance of collaboration and tension as they navigate the complexities of their shared mission and their uncertain future in the lives ahead. Nimrod walks away, leaving a lingering sense of anticipation as he declares, "Tomorrow we become our God." This enigmatic statement hints at a significant transformation or turning point on the horizon, adding an air of mystery and unfolding narrative. The future holds the promise of change and evolution, with Nimrod positioning himself for a pivotal role in the events to come. In the intense moment, we join Mystique Gambit and a lifeless Ironfire on the ground as they earmark on a covert mission to gather crucial information. The operation mission takes an unexpected turn, and with their valuable data stored in Mystique's mind, they attempt a daring escape. As things go awry, Gambit makes a drastic decision, opting for a suicide mission where every part of him can explode. He detonates himself to propel Mystique out of danger. Once outside, Mystique telepathically contacts others, swiftly downloading the vital information. However, the escape is short-lived as the Sentinels close in, surrounding Raven, who valiantly faces the implementing threat, guns a-blazing. The stakes are high and the team is in the midst of a perilous situation. At the Broken Sword Station, a somber revelation occurs as Professor's essence is now fused with Sync, harnessing his power by leaving his body ravaged. Despite the sacrifices, Sync informs the others that the X-Men on the mission did not survive. However, the objective was successful. They obtained the crucial location. The scene transitions to Iron Man, now an AI imprint of the late Tony Stark, adorned in his final suit. Captain Krakoa, embodied by Kamala Khan, and Shadow Tiger, the transformed Kate Pryde after consuming the Dead Seed, also appears in the lineup. And of course, the resolute Wolverine stands as the last remaining X-Men. The Broken Sword Station becomes a focal point, signifying a critical juncture in the narrative laden with the weight of both loss and strategic triumph. At the Orcus Forge in deep space, Omega Sentinel, Moira, and Nimrod observe the unfolding event. Moira notes a similarity to a vision from her sixth life, a lifetime that was supposed to occur thousands of years from now. She questions how the scenario is happening in the present. Omega Sentinel explains that she brought knowledge from the far future to defeat the mutants strategically, placing in a time when they were unprepared. It took 5 years to construct the necessary components, and they directed their efforts towards Mars. The culmination of this work resulted in the creation of World Mind, designed to attract the Dominion and in turn lead them into a larger cosmic realm. The World Mind is a perfect machine outside of time and space, and now stands steady, ready for action. As the night falls, they encounter Dr. Stasis, setting the stage for further developments in this intricate and high-stakes narrative. Dr. Stasis is still alive, still working for Orcus. He has come to inform them that another X-Men team has been wiped off the map. The bad news is they have information, including personality imprint of Fei Long. This is when Omega Sentinel tells them to quickly increase security scans on Phobos. On Phobos, the tension escalates as our heroes strive to infiltrate and exfiltrate without detection. The Iron Man II attempting to breach the force field triggers a massive explosion, setting off alarms that alert Nimrod and the others. Boom! Recognizing the imminent danger, they prepare for one last battle before they encounter with a perceived god. Nimrod, now comprehending the possibility of defeat, acknowledging that Omega Sentinel was correct. Even now, victory remains within their grasp. In this critical moment, Moira takes action, activating the World Mind and introducing a pivotal element into the unfolding narrative. In the vault in Ecuador, Dr. Stasis meets with Kadena, conveying that the time has come. Dr. Stasis reveals a plan to beat all adversaries on Phobos, signaling the onset of chaos. On the battlefield, Nimrod confronts the Death Seed-infected Kate Pryde. Adapting quickly, Nimrod neutralizes her, rendering Kate Pryde unconscious on the ground. Simultaneously, the World Mind initiates its activation, stabilizing and reaching out for contact. Successfully making contact, the Dominion arrives. Inside the vault's temporal acceleration pocket, Dr. Stasis acknowledges the cleverness of the AI's plan, but notes the limitation of AI's ideas compared to the human creating. Dr. Stasis has decided to take knowledge from the future and bestow it upon the supreme intelligence crafted from humanity's greatest mind. Within the vault, they've had a decade to strategize. While the AI may be bringing their supposed god to join them, Dr. Stasis intends to take different approach. Elimination. A mysterious glowing event occurs, transporting something to the sun and causing it to black out. On the Phobos battlefield, Nimrod notices the unusual phenomenon, the sun going dark, an unforeseen development in the unfolding conflict. In a critical moment requiring a diversion, Sync steps forward, utilizing his unique abilities to assimilate the powers of Apocalypse. force. Empowered with this newfound strength, he delivers a powerful blow to Nimrod's face. When Nimrod, momentarily stunned, Kate Pryce seizes the opportunity for one last phase. Chef grabbing Wolverine, she executes a fastball special, propelling him into the building. Inside, Wolverine confronts Diamond Sinister, their intended target. Sinister had been locked away due to the risk of possessing a failsafe, a precaution he acknowledges as wise. Inquiring about their escape plan, Wolverine coldly reveals that there is indeed a failsafe. Without hesitation, he brutally guts Sinister, ensuring the success of their mission. In space, the orb that absorbed the sun releases all its stored energy, directing it at the Dominion. The blast blacks out the Dominion's intelligence, erasing any minds or individuals within it. Dr. Stasis executed this plan, betraying the children of Vault to reach Dominion status himself. As he puts on his helmet, anticipating godhood, a sudden power surge halts everything. Confused, Dr. Stasis realizes the Dominion is not an empty husk, but is being consumed by another Dominion. Before he can react, Rasputin 4 drives her sword through Dr. Stasis' chest, killing him. She believes she had thwarted the plan, only to realize it's too late. She's informed that it's time for her to leave, as the timeline is on the verge of collapse. The narrative takes the dramatic turn as the consequences of Dr. Stasis' ambitious scheme unfolds in a space where power, betrayal, and cosmic forces collide. In the Dominion, Nathaniel Exon confronts Omega Sentinel and Nimrod, who challenge the entity, stating it is not his AI god, but an enigma. Enigma asserts its identity as the new god, once a mortal man transformed into artificial intelligence. Nathaniel Exon played a pivotal role in creating 4 versions of himself: the mutant, the post-human, the arcane, and the alien, all seeking ways to become a Dominion. Enigma reveals all the roads led to his existence. Sinister's involvement, particularly with Moira's gift, allowed for timeline resets, enabling each attempt to occur, be consumed, and then reset. Enigma, unaffected by the resets, watches the events unfold, aware of the other Dominion attempts orchestrated by its peers. With Sinister's demise, the failsafe activates, and Enigma witnesses the culmination of his victory, an inevitable transcending time and space. Dominion, Enigma, you are merely watching how I came to be. You are merely watching how I won. As the reality concludes, the narrative transitions to No Place X. Rasputin 4 utters an apology, expressing regret and acknowledging her failure in the given situation. Professor X reflects on their efforts, acknowledging success in preventing Stasis' accession on 9 occasions, despite the difficulty and likely impossibility of averting the Enigma Dominion's existence. They felt compelled to attempt it. Now faced with the realization that Dominion is inevitable, Professor X asserts they must navigate a more challenging path ahead. Professor X inquires about the progress of the X-Men's attacks against Orcus, specifically asking Doug, also known as Cypher, for an update. Doug responds that they are hitting their primary targets, cautioning that the Sword Station is deploying and they should anticipate the AI's counterattack to intensify. He notes that none of them are fully aware of the true nature of this situation. They are unwittingly fighting for the future they may not comprehend. Doug expresses a sense of determination, stating that they are fighting for an everlasting future and emphasizing the importance of not giving up. He addresses Rasputin's mentioning her intended role as a hero and urging Doug to treat her better, attributing any unusual behavior to the challenging circumstances with the unwell state of Krakoa. Doug acknowledges that the stakes have taken a toll on him, admitting that the looming presence of Enigma, like a ghost haunting the timeline, is a source of fear and anxiety. Cypher takes on the responsibility of informing the rest of the team about the challenging developments, describing it as bad news. He emphasizes the need to transition to the contingency plan, signaling a shift in their strategies or actions in response to the unfolding situation. In response to Rasputin's inquiry about the contingency plan, Professor X explains that she is the primary field agent, emphasizing the need for caution and limiting information to a need-to-know basis. Rasputin 4 asserts her carefulness, stating that the only psych communication went out recognized the potential threat of Enigma. Professor X expresses concern about the risk of Enigma extracting the final plan from her, highlighting the magnitude of the danger involved. Rasputin insists on being informed before proceeding, expressing the importance of not blindly following orders. Professor X reluctantly agrees, stating that he was hoping to spare her the burden. He cryptically mentions that what lies ahead is more than just walking in the shadows. It involves extinguishing flashing light. He then reveals that the next move is to strike at a specific location, providing some clarity on their plan. Professor X reveals a critical aspect of their plan, stating that they successfully executed, the entire timeline will unravel, leading to cessation of the Dominion at its very root. This suggests a strategic approach aimed at preventing the Dominion from fully taking hold in the timeline. Professor X unveils a drastic plan, explaining that if they eliminate Moira before her mutant ability activates at the age of 13, the entire Dominion threat would vanish. He emphasized that in this scenario, there would be no existence of Krakoa, past, present, or future. This strategy aims to eradicate the root cause of the Dominion's emergence by altering Moira's timeline. Next issue, Rise of the Powers of X, Volume 1. Issue 2.